says we are going live, and it says that we are live.
Yay!
What's up, folks?
Hello.
Welcome
All right.
to Firestarters Live. This is the first time we've done this year.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be fun. We're going to have a good time with you guys tonight. Looking forward to this. For those, we put our names down here, so you guys should know who we are now. But we'll introduce ourselves. I'm Shae Bynes, co-founder of Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur.
And I'm Antonina Geer, co-founder of Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur.
And I'm Alex Navas, sole founder of the Christian Business Academy.
And Alex also happens to be a beloved member of the Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur Covenant Board, which is our advisory board. So we thank you so much, Alex, for hanging with us tonight.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I wouldn't be doing anything else if I wasn't with you guys right now.
Awesome. See, so sweet.
No, you invite me. I want to show up. I mean, wherever you guys are, I'm going too. So
Awesome.
That's right.
That's how it works here. That's how covenants work.
That's
You go
right.
Wherever,
That's
Wherever
right.
you go, I'm there.
That's it. You're pretty much
Sweeping the
stuck
streets,
with us.
right?
Pretty much,
Sweeping the
yeah.
streets, right, bruh?
Sweep the streets, whatever. Maybe 2015 we'll switch it up, clean the toilets. But
Right.
for now, we'll do the streets.
We'll let you clean the toilets, okay?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do that. In Jesus' name, I'll do it.
Oh, there we go. In Jesus' name. All right,
Yeah.
he said it. So tonight, we don't really have a specific agenda of what we wanted to do this evening. What we really just want to do is hang out, hear from you guys, hear what thoughts you have, what questions you have, what business challenges you may have, just whatever is going on in your neck of the woods. And so that's why we're here. We'll have some things to share as well, and sometimes you guys can act shy, and it takes a minute to get you guys started. So we may do that too, but it's awesome. I see some folks here. Alex, I'm not really used to the split screen thing yet. Can you
Sure.
do some shout outs from some folks who I see have been
Absolutely.
joining us?
Absolutely. And so I want to say, well, we have some people just sharing this. So I want to say thank you to Daphne Pettis, I believe.
Yes.
Maybe, hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly. Evelyn Walker, our good friend, our good
Evelyn.
ABE,
What's up?
leader is in there, and she's shouting out, sharing the experience with other people. So I also want to say welcome and thanks for coming to Sharissa. James Thomas is here, so
Awesome.
that's awesome to see. So many familiar faces. Guy Hillier is here. We
Okay.
have Johnette Rose, Cindy Taylor, and the list keeps growing. Grace Marie Jones is here. Patricia is here. Debbie Mason. So we just welcome
Wow.
you, and we're here for you, really. Like Shae said, there's no agenda other than to serve you. So we're here for you.
Mhm.
There's nothing that you can, think of to leave off the table here. We're here for you. So whatever you have, we're here.
Bring it.
Answer whatever, yeah. And then we're gonna encourage you too, and have a
Yeah.
good time.
Absolutely. So I want to give Cindy, I believe, as far as I know, is our only international visitor with us this evening. Cindy hails from Canada. I can't remember what part of Canada she's in, but welcome.
Welcome.
Nice
Where's
to have
everybody
you.
from? Actually, type in the chat. Where are you from? I want to see where everybody's from.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
know Evelyn's in my hood, in
Yep.
Chicago. So, but yeah, where's everybody from? Love to see where we're reaching people. It's always interesting to see where people are from.
That's right. And while you're waiting for those who don't know, I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
I'm in Greer, South Carolina.
And Chicago, Illinois.
Hey, Nina, you got to tell, where is Greer? Nobody turned to Greer, South Carolina. Where are you close to?
I am close to Greenville, South Carolina, about an hour and a half to 2 hours from Atlanta. No, 2 hours from Atlanta, and an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes from Charlotte.
Okay, good stuff, good stuff. Where's everyone else from, Alex?
Let me see. I have. Let me refresh here. Give me 1 second. Like trying to manage multiple windows here. So
You see why we gave you this job, right?
yeah, no, I appreciate that. We got Aurora, Illinois so far, California. So James Thomas is out in California.
Oh,
Tucson.
yeah.
Z Banks. What's your first name, Z? So we make sure we call you by name. Tucson, but viewing in Washington State tonight.
Nice.
So yeah, so far we're all over the place. We have Washington, we have California, Aurora, St. Louis, Missouri. Okay, not too far from me.
Awesome.
New Jersey, New Jerusalem. I meant New
Awesome.
Jersey. All right. Um, awesome. Ashley just joined us.
Ashley
Ashley
Sauls?
Sanders.
Ashley
Sanders.
Ashley
Sanders in
Sanders.
Georgia.
Absolutely.
Hi, Ashley.
Ashley.
So Chattanooga, Tennessee, by way of Charleston, South Carolina. All right, we're like
Oh,
all over the
glad.
country. So
I love it.
Yeah.
awesome. Yes,
I love
excellent.
that we have West Coast represented. You're never sure when you do something at 8 o'clock Eastern, it's 5 o'clock
Hmm.
Pacific, and
Yeah,
just kind of winding down their day and stuff like that. So it's really awesome to have the West Coast in the house.
absolutely. Hey,
Awesome.
so as we get going here, and probably each of us will share a little bit of thought just to get things moving in the group. But first of all, thank you for participating and typing in where you're from. What we want to know is, what do you want to get out of this hour, out of this next hour? What would you like answered? What is the most pressing question that you have, or what are some things where you might be stuck? For example, you want little bit of guidance or whatever it is. And just again, we're here for you. For those who have just come in a couple moments ago, we're here for you. This is our agenda is your agenda. So whatever you have for us, we're here really to support you. Sam Porter says hello, everybody. So type in what you
Sam.
want. What would make this hour of your time highly valuable? That's what we want to know. So type that into the chat here, and as you can see, I'm kind of the official chat guy here. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate that.
You knew there was a reason we invited you up on here, right?
Yeah, I thought it was like to help people, but I guess
Yeah, us and everyone else. Praise
all right.
God.
Hey, you're
I'm
giving me
checking
purpose.
too. I'm checking too, Alex, just in case,
Okay, awesome. I was like, yeah, I got purpose tonight. I'm not going to bed without a purpose, and my purpose is to check the chat. Awesome.
Love it. So do we have some folks already chiming in?
Couple are still typing here, so
Cool.
yeah, we'll give them a couple moments just to type in what they'd like to know tonight.
Awesome.
So let's discuss, for those that are newer to the community or may have come to Kingdom Driven Entrepreneurs just in the last couple weeks, couple months, and I'll tell them a little bit about Christian Business Academy. But why don't you guys just kind of do a quick little intro about KDE? Like, what's in 3-4 minutes, how did it become what it is today? Go.
He said it 3 or 4 minutes, so I guess we better make sure Antonina speaks and not Shae Bynes. Go ahead,
That's
sis.
2.5 minutes because you just wasted 30 seconds on that. So go.
Well, sis, you like to tell the story of how we met. You want us to go that far back, Alex?
Yeah, wherever you want to go in 2 minutes. Go.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
All right.
sis.
So
Yeah,
let's
3-4
start with
minutes,
what
wherever you
Kingdom.
want to go.
All right, fair enough. So Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur, let's talk a little bit just really quickly about the vision of this organization and the mission of this organization. We'll start there. The vision for Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur is to make Jesus Christ known in the marketplace globally. Really simple vision, right? And our mission is to equip entrepreneurs of faith such as yourselves to build thriving businesses so they can serve their families, truly impact lives, and advance the kingdom of God. Right? And so a lot of people look at business as a separate kind of category of what they do in life outside of what they do in ministry at church or with their families and that type of thing. But yet God is interested in all of it. And he will use you in the most amazing and awesome ways in the marketplace to make him irresistible to others who are around you in business. And so we're here to really kind of impart. We always say we are activating fire starters in the marketplace, right? So people who are going out in the marketplace, they are being demonstrators of God's power, his presence, his passion, and his purity in the marketplace, right? That's what we're here to do. And so we do that in a number of ways. We do that through teaching. We do that through our live events. We do that through our books. We have a publishing division. We have a number of books out. I think we're at number 10 right now. And it all started in November of 2012 with our first book, The Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur, Doing Business God's Way. And then we also have our online community. We've got our small groups that are popping up all over the nation. And also we've got one in Zimbabwe. So it's just awesome.
It's awesome.
It is
And
awesome.
our mantra is, doing business God's way and having Him the head of our businesses, being led by the Holy Spirit in everything that we do in business and in our lives. So, yep.
That's what we're about.
Awesome.
I think we did that in about 90 seconds.
Yeah, no, that was good. That was good. I mean, it was probably about 4 minutes, but that's cool. It needed to be said. Awesome. No, I came into the KDE community probably what I would say 7, 8 months in maybe something.
Less than that.
Want to
Okay.
say,
It had been a
yeah,
minute. Probably around April of
this time
2013.
last year or so, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I got in it, and my quick story was first of all that I love these two women. They're amazing women. They're my sisters all the way. I'm part of the Covenant board because I truly believe what they're doing in the world. So when they approached me, it was something that God had led them to do. And if anyone has questions on developing a covenant board or maybe a little bit of background on that, would love to share that. But some people say, "Hey, how did you guys choose your covenant board?" But it was really up to God to choose, right?
We
You
did
guys
not
didn't
choose
choose.
you
You just
guys.
simply, yeah, you just simply reached out. I mean, the story of how we connected is a whole other thing. We'll take the whole time for that. Um, but it's really about what you just said, is making your business about God. It's
Hmm.
putting God back in the center of your business. And that's one of the ways, is just, hey, God, you make the connections I need to make, and you create the vision, and you create the mission for us, and we're just going to be obedient to it. And that's how this connection was made. We've been amazing friends. You would think that we'd have been friends for at least 10 years, but
Yeah.
God has a way of speeding things up and drawing people close when they set their hearts on God. So that's how we got connected. The Christian Business Academy really started in 2003 in my mind and in my heart, because I owned a mortgage business at the time, and I was looking for a place to be in community with other like-minded people, people of faith, people that wanted to put God in the center of their business and weren't afraid to succeed in business either. And so when I was looking for that in 2003, after giving my life to the Lord, there was nothing like that. There was no community of more people like me, bearded people with a nice mustache. Nobody like that. No, I'm just kidding. But there was nowhere for me to just share this great joy I had, not only for God, but also for business, and knowing that business is just a tool to use to bring hope to the world. And so fast forward, 2012, 2013, and where we are today. And so I had a conversation with God in prayer and meditation of, God, where should I go next? And he said, do you remember that dinner you had with the pastor? And you asked him if there was some place for people like you, people that are on fire for God and they love business and they want to do their business for God. And of course, my answer at the time was no, I haven't found a place. So he says, create it. And then came my Jonah experience, and not knowing what was going to happen, and so I kind of ran away from it, but it was always something that tugged at my heart on a daily basis. Not one day would go by where I wasn't thinking, what am I doing for these people God called me to serve? And so I finally got out of my own way, got out of God's way, and said, okay, God, you want me to create it? Here it goes. So that's where I founded the Christian Business Academy, and I've been empowering, educating, and equipping Christian business leaders to develop purposeful businesses that they're passionate about and that make money, because when we make money, we're able to make a difference and fund so many people out there doing the work of God. So that's really what I'm passionate about, and so we connected there, and it's just been awesome to see the growth on all sides of the people that are called by God with a very unique set of skills. So I'm just
Yeah.
excited to be here. That's my 3 minutes, hopefully.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, what are the folks saying who are here? We've got quite a few people who have joined us. What's
Sure.
on their minds?
Absolutely. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit. One thing is, and I don't know if we'll have all the answers today, but Evelyn Walker says creating a website. I mean, that she feels overwhelmed with the website. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, feeling overwhelmed by the website, I actually have a follow-up question, is what is it about the website that's overwhelming? I kind of have a follow-up question to that.
All right, Evelyn, the ball's in your court. Just go ahead and answer. What's overwhelming about the website? And then we're going to go on, and then just after you comment, we'll go back to your question. Great question by Shakana, and it says, "Greetings. She wants to know how we navigate around the spiritual-minded folks versus Jesus-driven." And I think I'm going to address that one
Okay.
Oh.
because your question is, how do we navigate around the spiritual-minded folks versus Jesus-driven? And I think if we are Jesus-driven, we're going to navigate to them, not around them. Many of us were just caught with all types of concepts and misconceptions about what this life was like living with Jesus. And imagine if somebody navigated around us. And I don't think you mean like you want to avoid them, but I think it's how to have a better conversation with them about what truly
Mhm.
matters. And I think that's really the question behind the question. So I would say that we're not trying to navigate around anybody. We're actually trying to direct them. Matter of fact, I was reading in my journal something I journaled about a year and a half ago, and it was like, if we pursue people, they're gonna come to us. It's not like, we just hope that people will come to us because we have this message of hope, this message of Jesus. When we pursue people, like you read the Bible, and Jesus went after people. He calls what is this guy's name? The little guy that went up to the tree. I for some
Zacchaeus?
reason Zacchaeus.
Zacchaeus.
He called him down. You know what I'm saying? Come off your tree. Like Zacchaeus wasn't, he wasn't a Jew. He wasn't a spiritual guy. He was going about his business, and Jesus called him down and had dinner with his family, had dinner with him. So that tells me that we're just our goal when we're Jesus minded is to pursue people, independent of what their beliefs are, independent of what their opinions are. I mean, recently, just in the last week, I've been meeting in different ways. I've been meeting gay couples. I just keep running into them and talking to them. And if they were to walk away and know that I'm a Christian, what they're gonna say is that this person loved me.
Mhm.
What they're gonna say is that this person, uh, he just demonstrated love, not any conviction on them. It's the Holy Spirit's job to give them conviction. It's my job to love them.
Yeah.
That's my role. So it doesn't matter if they have different beliefs or not. It doesn't mean that I believe in what they believe, but what I do believe in is that I come to love, and that no matter what their beliefs are, what their lifestyle is like, and what their spirituality is like, if I love has a power of transforming people. So that's
Mhm.
how I'd answer you, is I'd pursue them and just love on them, and little by little they're going to start wondering what makes you different. Why are you different than everybody else that's judged them, that's told them that what they're doing and what they're believing is all wrong, as opposed to loving them and giving them that curiosity of knowing that there's something very unique about you.
That's good.
Mhm.
So the next one is on you ladies. Easy ways to generate business online. Give me some ideas of how to generate business online. That's Grace Marie Jones has asked that question.
Okay.
Oh, well,
Go ahead,
I,
sis.
I would just first say the first thing I think you should do is be concerned about building relationships. Um, that's one way to start generating business online is first building relationships. And then I don't know what else you want to add, Shay, or what you were going to say.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's like 5,000 tactics around building relationships online, right? I think you just as I'm assuming that you know who it is that you're speaking to, who you're serving. Assuming that you do know that, and if you don't, I would start there. But if you already know that, this whole idea around building relationships online could just be providing value to the people that you are serving, and you could choose to provide that value in any kind of way. It could be, free information that you're providing to them, or videos
Mhm.
that you're shooting to give them information, helpful post on social media, whatever it is, because by providing value to people, it draws them towards you to get to want more of what you have, right? And so, and really, just about, I guess, in really any business that I've had, the online component was really all about serving, 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 because by doing that, it was drawing people in for more on the paid side.
Absolutely. It's about relationships, right? It doesn't matter
Yeah.
if it's online or offline.
Or offline.
People are
Yeah.
people, right?
Yep.
Yep.
How do you treat people, and I'll give you an example. Today I had my car in the mechanic shop, and it was there last week, and for some reason it was having some electrical issues, and so I talked to my mechanic, told him about it. I had just taken it out of the shop, so he's like, okay, no problem. Hey, I'm gonna run into you at church, and just give me the key. I told him it doesn't start. and he said, "Give me the key. Me and my brother will go get it for you." So I'm like, okay, that's unlike traditional mechanics that I'm used to. So he gets the car, and then he starts tearing things apart to see what the problem is. He thought it was one thing, it wasn't. So he's like problem solving, troubleshooting, and he calls me today, and I'm like, all right, awesome, it's ready, perfect. How much do I owe you? He's like, no, 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 don't worry about it. It's on
Wow.
me. I value your relationship.
Wow.
It's on me. And I'm like, man, he must have spent a couple hours trying to figure this thing out. He says it's on me. And he's like, oh, all you need now is a car wash because it was all dirty. So now I go to a car wash, and my car is dirty. It's filthy, as a matter of fact. I still had, I still had some salt from the snow over the winter. 2 days ago it was snowing here in Chicago. So that's another story. I don't want to get into my drama. But anyway, I take it to the car wash. I gave him a nice big tip. I'm driving away now, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this is the difference between making it customer focused and just making it transaction focused.
Yeah.
My mechanic went to my car, went to my home, picked up the car, like had to push it to start. I don't know what he did. I don't know if he towed it. I don't know what he did. But all I knew, it wasn't here anymore. And then he goes and spends hours trying to troubleshoot so that it wouldn't be an inconvenience to me, because it took an extra day or two to fix it, and he didn't want to inconvenience me. So he's like, no, it's on me. Don't worry about it. I value your relationship. Then I go to this car wash, and I leave, and it's filthy. Like, I'm literally asking for a rag to clean certain things, even though I tip them very well. What's the difference there? And that difference applies whether it's online or not. It's about people. It's about the relationship. Like, when you take care of people, people begin to take care of you. Because the first thing I wanted to do is I'm gonna post on Facebook, hey guys, if you're in Chicago and you need a mechanic, go to this guy. He's amazing.
That's right.
He didn't ask me for business. He didn't even ask for that. But I'm gonna do it because he made people first. He made the relationship first. He didn't treat me like a transaction. The other guy, on the other hand, the car wash, I could go once a week. I typically would go twice a month for car washes. I have two cars. That's 4 washes a month for 12 months, 48 washes, but they lost out simply because they wanted to treat me like I'm a transaction.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, whether it's online or offline, it's about, as Antonina said, it's about relationships. That's what it really comes down to.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
My 2 cents. All right, so ladies, the next question is from James Thomas. He says, I'm really trying to fine-tune my fitness business and finish writing my first book. So you guys are the experts there. I'm a fitness coach, also a Beachbody coach. I really want to differentiate myself from the millions of others in the industry. And if he's a Beachbody coach, there's thousands of others that are Beachbody coaches. So I think part of that is messaging uniquely, right? But you guys could share on that. Also, in writing the book, I wanted to do something different. Recipes and relationships. Been stagnant for months.
So
how can we solve these issues?
So why don't you tackle the first one, and let us tackle the second half on the book side.
Okay. So the first one is I'm trying to fine-tune my fitness business, right? He's a fitness coach, also a Beachbody coach. I really want to differentiate myself. All right. So we already know, we're all probably in agreement that there's tons of fitness coaches, there's tons of Beachbody coaches, right? So that can't stand on its own. So what you have to really think about is what makes you unique. What is, I say there's 3 different things that'll make you unique. 3 different things. One is your market. Your market is number 1. Who's your market? Maybe you're the health coach to busy professionals. Okay? That's one thing that'll make you different. Maybe you're the health coach for work-at-home moms, for example. Okay? So the market itself, the people you serve, can be one of the differentiators. The second one is your message. Like, how do you do what you do? Maybe you're the hardcore core trainer, right? So your thing. I mean, James, I know you, and I've seen pictures of you. You're like ripped, and so if you want to be, have a chiseled body, I'm your guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's your message. I chisel your body as as we chisel your mind, or something along that line, right? So I'm just kind of shooting from the hip here, but I seen this guy, and he's like, I get mad when I see his pictures, as a matter of fact. So James, thank you for making me dislike myself a little bit. But no, it's all good. But you have a lot of different things that you do. Like, I watch your videos. That makes you unique. I watch how you use everyday items. Like, what if you were the coach that helped people get fit with everyday items at home? Like, you don't even need to go to a gym. You don't
That's
need to
good.
go buy all types of equipment. You just use stuff at home, and you could get ripped just like I am. So that's your message, right? So now we're dealing with your market, your message, and the third thing is what I call mastery. Your mastery. Those are the three things that'll make you unique. What's your mastery? This is the things that absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, even if somebody already has your market, somebody already has a very similar message, your mastery is the one thing nobody can compete with, because that's your personal experience. That's what gives you the authority to know what you know, and only you know.
Mm-hmm.
You're the only one that's failed the way you failed. You're the only one that's succeeded the way you've succeeded. You're the only one that's made the mistakes that you've made. You're the only one that's been educated the way you've been educated. All that is what I call the culmination of that is the mastery. So if you get that down pat, if you say, okay, I'm going to help these people do this particular thing, and I do it because I've experienced this, which makes the process a lot shorter. Like Alex, it'll take you 90 days, but because I've gone through all these different things, I've tried all this stuff, I've studied under these different things, I've kind of synergized everything. So in 30 days, you'd get the results of somebody that usually takes 90 days to see half of those results. Do you understand? So
Mm-hmm.
those are the three things that'll make you different, so that you don't have to approach people and say, hey, I'm a fitness coach. So what? What is it? What is that going to do for me? What's the result for me? The person that's paying you is not paying you because of your great looks or your chiseled body. They're paying you because they want a certain result. And when you demonstrate that and you communicate that effectively, suddenly everybody else that does similar to what you do is obsolete. Hope that helps.
That's good. Can you repeat the book related question?
Absolutely. I really wanted to. Okay. Also, in writing the book, I wanted to do something different. Recipes and relationships. I've been stagnant for months. So he's writing his first book, and he wants to do it different than other fitness books. He wants to include recipes, and it says relationships. I'm not sure I understand that part. So James, if you could talk about that briefly as they start answering the question about the book, finishing your first book.
Yeah, so as far as the writing process, I mean, we can share what works for us. I mean, with any book that we're writing, we start off with, okay, well, what's the purpose of this book, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the bottom line? Like when someone reads this book, what's that outcome for them? What's that bottom line result? And then after that, we're outlining, okay, so here are the things that it's going to take to do that. For that end result, okay, here are the things that we need to cover. So we'll start with the outline, right? After we have an outline, then it's like, okay, let's start writing down. Like let's say when we're co-writing a book, and let's say I've got 5 chapters in it or whatever, when we look at the outline and I know what sections I have to do, I just start like writing out my thoughts on the
Mm-hmm.
various areas. No rhyme or reason, just sharing, just kind of like a dump, of my thoughts around something, to go along with that outline. And then from there, I just go where the Lord leads. If I'm feeling like, what, I set aside times, I set aside blocks of time so I can have quiet time. For me, the best time I found over the past 9 months of writing has been for me to write from 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. And so I say, okay, I'm going to set aside that block and I'm going to have these few hours to write, and then I'm just going to write for that amount of time, and then I'm going to go and do it again, right? But I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to concern myself with the order of which I write. None of that. It's just like, okay, what's good for today? Okay, I'm going to write that section today, because you can pull it all together later. But sometimes we get stuck because we put ourselves in so many boxes. Well, I have to write in this order. What am I going to write? And just being too concerned with just putting some things down on paper. But the second largest issue usually people have with writing is the lack of consistency to put aside the time, the
Mm-hmm.
uninterrupted, quiet time in order to write. I don't know about you. I mean, I can't write when there's a bunch of noise. My kids are here and they're running around. I can't write like that. So I've got to write.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what the topic is. If I'm going to write and it's going to be good, I've got to write when it's quiet and or get away from the house.
Yeah, that's the same for me too. It has to be a quiet time, and my time is usually four in the morning. between 4 and 5:30 when it's really still and quiet before anybody gets up, and before the day just gets busy. That's my time. If you are an entrepreneur who still has a full-time job, when Shae and I first when we wrote our first book, I was still working outside the home full time. So I was pretty diligent in setting my time of getting up, doing it at 4 in the morning, and then I made use of my lunch hour and
Yeah.
where I would go out and write in my car or outside at a picnic table on my lunch break and write then.
Yeah.
So,
And I guess the last tip would be that it doesn't have to be perfect when you're writing. You know,
mhm,
fine tune. Don't edit while you're writing. Just write. Allow the
yeah,
editing to take place after you write, because when you can be all in your head and trying to perfect something before it's even down on paper. So don't be a critic of yourself as you're writing. Just write and then critique later and fix later.
yeah, that's one I had to learn too. Yeah.
And James actually answered the relationship part. So it says,
Okay.
"Okay, my fiance and I became best friends in the kitchen, and it has been a wonderful experience. And it has allowed us to grow together. So I wanted to create a recipe book with relationship tips. There are many ways to enhance a relationship. Wanting to share my story of how it enhanced my relationship. Does that make sense?" So
It
I
Yeah.
don't
makes
know if it's
sense. And
necessarily a fitness book, but it's definitely, he's got a little bit of a differentiator right there.
I was going to
yeah,
say that's a total differentiator.
yeah, absolutely.
I hope that ties to who his market is for his business. Otherwise, it's going to be a completely separate effort. But
Hmm.
um, I think it's awesome to do something different like that.
And if I remember correctly, I think she does training as well. So I mean,
Neat.
they can come together
Oh, wow.
and be a couples trainer.
Which would
Like
be so
they
cool.
can do training, health training, fitness training, and help them train to develop a closer bond, a closer relationship. I mean, that would be awesome. I haven't really
Yeah.
come across that.
Yeah.
It might exist out there, but then when you're with your recipes, and now you guys are doing workouts for his and her workouts, and I I don't know. I think right there
I,
is
That's hot
yeah,
right
something
that's
very
there. That's
unique.
hot.
Yeah.
good. That
Yep.
is hot. And
If
some
you don't do it,
healthy
I'm gonna have to get in shape
recipes.
and beat
Yeah.
and take it from you.
Yeah. That's yeah, I like that. Me and my husband would definitely buy that. We'll buy a book like that with healthy
Yeah.
recipes, staying healthy together. Here's some recipes that you um can do together and stay healthy together. Oh yeah.
Like
That's good.
fun fitness boot camp or something like that, and it's for couples. I,
I dig
I
it.
don't know.
Yeah, that's cool.
Fun fitness boot camp. So I don't know, but that's a cool idea, just doing it because there's some people that I mean, I won't do it alone. There was a time that my wife was working out. I mean, we're in the room and she's kind of doing her stuff, and she's like, "Want to join me?" And I'm like,
You're like, man, not so much.
"Now I would." But imagine if there was something more organized to make it easier. Now we're cooking together these healthy meals. I mean,
Yeah.
my son will probably jump on board.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that idea. That's great. Thanks for
Good
adding that,
stuff.
James,
That's
because that's some
James.
really good stuff. Yeah, James
James'
James.
name.
Thomas.
That's good stuff, James.
Yeah. So let's see here. Uh, Jonette Rose says developing a personal and business mission statement. So I know you shared your mission statement earlier. Can you share a couple thoughts on that?
Sure, sis. You want to take it or?
Um, Developing your personal and mission statement, is that what you said,
Yes,
Alex?
exactly.
Oh, I don't know how to
I
answer
remember.
that one straight
I
away,
mean,
but
you know how we did ours. It was just we prayed about it. We're
we
like,
just
Lord.
prayed and seek God on what that is for your business, and then be led that way, and just start writing it.
Yeah.
So let's
I
get
mean,
a little bit practical here too, because I think some people don't do a mission statement because they don't know what it should be. Like, what's the difference between a vision, a mission, a purpose statement? So let's just get really practical here. And I think even with a little bit more clarity about what the purpose of a mission statement is, they can now have the right kind of thinking as they come to God and say, "All right, God, reveal this to me." But in their mind, they're going to have what they're looking for. You know what I'm saying? So what is a
Hmm.
mission statement? We could start there.
well, it's funny. We just had the conversation earlier today, Nina.
Hmm.
So because there's different schools of thought on
Right.
vision versus mission, and is vision mission and all that stuff. So I'm not really all that interested in that conversation. But what I can tell you is, from our experience, so when we look at it, it was like, okay, the vision is the big picture. The vision is the big picture, and the mission starts to get a little bit into the how. Not strong tactics. I mean, we have a lot of
It's not an
tactics
action plan, right? It's not an action plan.
right. It's not an action plan,
Right.
but it
It's a
does.
why. It's a
Right.
why.
It's like
The
speaks to
vehicle, like the
Mhm.
vehicle for where you're going to get the vision accomplished.
Exactly. And so that's how they support each other. So that's why on the front end, when I said, okay, the vision of Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur is to make Jesus Christ known in the marketplace globally, folks will be like, how's your business vision that?
Yeah.
How is that? Well, that's a big vision, and that is an end result of the thing that we do, is that Jesus Christ is made irresistible through the marketplace, through
Yeah.
Kingdom Driven Entrepreneurs, right?
And
But then,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
okay, but then the mission side, we start to get a little bit more specific. Okay, well, what are we doing? We're equipping entrepreneurs of faith to build thriving, which means they're financially successful, your family is thriving, all of these things that go around it are thriving. Business, so they can serve their families, which is their first ministry, truly impact lives and advance the kingdom of God. So everything that we do, all the action plans that are underneath that vision, are all then supporting that larger vision. I mean, if you look at some of the big companies and their visions, you'll be like, I mean, I can't remember. We just talked about this on a podcast. Amazon's was like, I don't know, it was something wild. I wanted to look it up now, but it was something really wild, like, people could find anything in the world on their website. It's something like really crazy.
Bookstore.
Yeah, like really,
Something
really
like that,
wild
yeah.
stuff. But it's good. I mean, but that's kind of the difference between vision and mission. From our standpoint, you'll find different schools of thought around it.
Yeah.
As far as developing what that is for your business, I mean, you really do have to seek out about what is this thing that you want me to do, right? What is the end result of this? Why am I doing this? What is this about, right? But you've got to start kind of writing that out, right? So, it's something that you should take to the Lord in prayer, and then just start writing out, what you think this is. Where do you believe he's called you to do? What's the end result of that thing? And write that out. What does that look like for the people that you're serving?
Yeah.
Start there from a vision, and then a mission that starts to get a little bit into that how and the why you do that.
And some people say the vision is something you'll never accomplish, but you aspire to. Like it's so big that you'll never you can be in business for the next 100 years,
yes,
and you're still trying to hit that goal. Because it's such a big vision,
right?
And so that's one thing to consider. You kind of said, so maybe you agree. It's just something that is, people speak about with the vision.
Yeah.
For some, it might be a 10-year vision, and you accomplish it, and you've done your job, and then you're off to the next thing because you've done what you set out to do, or God has instructed you to do. So, those are just some things to think about. And then the other thing is, don't forget that your vision and your mission, once you identify it, write it down, get clear on it, it serves as a filter of what you will do and what you won't do.
That's so
Most
good.
of the time, you're going to use it to start eliminating some things. And I'll tell you, some of the times,
that's so true.
some of the times where I've been overwhelmed has been a result of not going back to my mission and vision, and so I was accepting things that I shouldn't, and it kept me from doing the things that I should. So it's a filtering process. Is this going to support my mission in putting a computer in everybody's home, right? That was Microsoft's, I think. So if there's something that comes, it might be a fantastic opportunity, a lucrative opportunity, but if it doesn't help support that mission and vision, there's no room for it. That might be somebody else to take that space, to carry that mission on, because you're clear on where you're going. So
that's good.
That's one of the prime advantages of having a clear mission and vision. The longer you take in developing it and just sitting down and really thinking through this, the longer you're going to start accepting things that really have no place and are only going to serve as a distraction to keep you from your bigger purpose.
And hopefully this is encouraging, but just in the conversation we were having earlier today, we were talking about how even though we had this vision written down, we didn't even, sometimes the Lord might give you something that you're like, what? But you put it down anyway, right? And I mean, there's changes, there's shifts that have taken place in Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur. We were really clear on this mission, but then there was even some of the things underneath it. It was like, okay, what are our principles? What are those things that we're supposed to be doing, and which things are we not? And it took a little bit of time to even maneuver through that. The vision never changed. The vision was still the vision, but it's like it took us a minute to come around to what God was speaking to us about what that vision was, and that's okay. So my point is, if you get something, you're like, whoa, that sounds crazy. It's okay.
Hey, somebody posted, James, I want a copy of that book.
Which
Yeah,
one?
me too.
Daphne, is that the couple's relationship
Oh,
building?
yeah.
Look at
Let us know when
Daphne
you've written
said
that
that, hey,
book.
James, I want a copy when you get finished with the book. All right, so James, hint, hint, people are saying, me, you just hit
Yep. I'm
you
saying
just spoke directly to a market that wants it. Like right here is probably
yep,
three of us that
right
are
here.
married. We're in a relationship. We want to get better at our fitness side of the tenets of our life, right? It's faith, family, fitness, fun, friendship, all that stuff. But fitness is one of us that is one of those that a lot of entrepreneurs, we just don't get it right because we got so many things going on. So, I
Yeah.
mean, the
Get that book
market is
done, dude.
talking to you here. Yeah, market is talking to you. So, ball's in your court now.
What
Uh,
else we got?
Daphne said, thanks. This really helps tremendously.
Awesome.
Um, James says, I have my Evernote open. I'm taking massive notes. Thank you so much. So I'm glad this is helpful. Again,
Awesome.
this is about you. So appreciate that. Other questions here. Trista's asking, I'm looking for a mentor in my industry, which is bath and body product line. What are your thoughts on that, on where I can go or who to talk to? What do you think of getting, first of all, what do you think of getting a mentor? Secondly, how important is it to have a mentor that's specifically in your industry? Can you speak to that?
Um, I think having a mentor is great. Be clear about what you want out of what it is that you're looking to get from that relationship. When you go to seek out that mentor, make sure you're doing some research on them as well. And also come with something that you can probably give to them as well, add some value. But definitely know what it is that you want to get out of that relationship. As far as industry specific, excuse me, I can see how that can be helpful, but your mentors don't always have to be in the same industry.
Yeah. When I was getting into real estate investing, that was 2006, 2007 timeframe. I really wanted. It's like, well, I'm trying to learn this business, and so I wanted mentorship in that area. I didn't have the money to go and invest in a coach in it or anything like that to start off. So what I did is I went online and found where people were who were in this business. And I took on a lot of people who I deemed as mentors. I never called them my mentor to them. I never told them, you're my mentor. I never asked them to be my mentor, but yet they were still my mentor. I call them my informal mentors. I would ask questions in forums. They would answer my questions. I'd reach out to them. I always provided helpful tips to others as I was learning things. And it's like, and there was like this whole kind of, I must have had like 3 or 4 whom I considered informal mentors. I never paid $1 to any of them. But I learned a ton from them, and I never called them a mentor. One of them I just told the other day, like years later, you were an informal mentor to me. Now he's a client of ours. It's amazing. But it's like, so there can be informal mentors. That it doesn't always have to be formal mentorship. If you can get yourself in a community of people in business and even industry specific, that's great. And you can build from your relationships there. You can build even informal mentorships. And quite honestly, even picking up a book, there's people who I read their books like, man, I'm like, this is a mentor of mine. Just reading books as well. So I love mentors. I've had formal mentors. I am a mentor to others. I think it's amazing. It's an awesome, wonderful thing. But just don't keep your mind closed to other ways of receiving mentorship other than kind of the more traditional way.
That's good.
Anything to add, Antonina?
No.
Okay. I think you said it all. That was awesome. Awesome. Nico G is saying, how do you incorporate your faith in your business in a way that doesn't seem too pushy to others and turn them away, but still lets them know what your beliefs and values are? One small thing I do is add a Bible verse on the back of all my business cards. Sometimes they catch it and ask about it, and it can turn into a segue for opening into a deeper conversation. So the question again, how do you incorporate your faith in your business in a way that doesn't seem too pushy to others or turn them away?
Wow, that's an awesome, awesome question, and there's many, many answers to them. I think that the first thing that came to my mind is that I liked what you did. You put a Bible verse on the back of your business card. That's great. Um, the way I've operated in my business is I just let the light shine, right?
Hmm.
I never in my previous businesses, I actually never said that I was a Christian. I never actually said anywhere on my websites, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. I never ever said that, but yet people knew it. I never said it, but yet they knew, right? And so there was either things that I said, things that I shared, just how I lived, how I operated, how I did work,
Hmm.
that spoke by itself. Which is also why I also have a very, very large community of people that I am friends with and have met through business and developed relationships with who are not believers, right? But yet I still have there's still influence there, if you understand
Hmm.
what I'm saying. And so I think that I don't. There's nothing wrong with putting the scripture on the back of your business card. I think that's awesome. People do that, like putting a scripture up in their wall of their office or whatever. I mean, you can do what you're led to do. But just keep in mind that also just the way you operate in business, just the way you speak to people, just the way you treat people, all of those things exemplify Jesus Christ. So
Hmm.
that's the one thing I wanted to share.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's just living it out. Um, Alex said something at the top of the hangout about demonstrating love and
Yeah,
just how you treat people. They'll know it's love that draws people. People they'll know just how you conduct your business, how you can act in meetings, how you treat your customers. People will know that there's something different about you, and if they stick around you long enough, they're going to start asking questions, and that leads to an opportunity to be able to share with them why you're the way that you are.
yeah. When we were at the retreat in Phoenix, we spent some time talking about this whole thing about, are you covert or are you supposed to be covert or overt, right? And the Lord will call some people to be more.
Mhm.
I never want to put things in a box, and I will never judge somebody by of the way that they are representing, Christ. I mean, unless they're not representing, I mean, then it's like, come on now. But I mean, it's the
Mhm.
thing is, the Lord will call different people to do different things. Some people are like really strong evangelist types, right? And the Lord will call them to do some pretty unique types of things in their business that I wouldn't do, right? And he wouldn't call me to do it because that's just not me, right? But it's okay if some people are going to be like, they're going to plaster like a billboard, and if that's what the Lord calls you to do, then hey, more power to you, because there's a reason for him to lead you to do that. I think the thing is, I mean, and everything that we talk about, we're always talking about being led by the Holy Spirit, because sometimes
Mhm.
we can get ahead of ourselves and we think that, it's a value for us to, make a billboard out of something when it's not even necessary. But in other cases, it could very much be necessary for the thing that you're called to do it that way. And you're going to draw people because of your assignment. So I think it's really important, number one, for us not to judge each other on the way each other do it, and
Yeah.
also not to believe that there's just one way of going about it, because there's
Mhm.
not. So many ways.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And
This
read the
is an ongoing
Firestarter effect.
discussion. Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
ongoing discussion. Like
Yeah,
if I go to the KD, I mean, I think I started this a couple months ago, and there was different, different people have different opinions, and that's because everybody has a unique assignment. So
that's right.
just as you said, so don't we can't be critical of somebody else's assignment because it's very unique to them,
That's right.
and at the same time, we don't want to mimic someone else's assignment because then we forfeit the assignment that God has, so perfectly designed for each of us.
That's right.
You know.
I think the very awesome example that was given during the retreat was from Alicia, when she talked about the difference between like a Peyton Manning who is a follower of Christ and is in football, but doesn't, you know, wear it on his forehead necessarily, versus what's the guy's name who played for the
Tim
U.S.
Tebow.
and
Tebow,
now he's
Tim Tebow.
Tebow.
Tim
Yeah,
Tebow.
Tim
Yeah.
Tebow. So it's like, don't despise Tim Tebow for the way he does things, and don't despise Peyton Manning for the way he does his. Completely different approaches, but yet still
Yeah.
both of them draw people to Christ,
Yeah.
right?
And ultimately, listen, God can use a smile.
That's right.
Yeah.
He doesn't need the words that come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
It's awesome that I do that, but he can work with a smile. He said, if you if you don't worship me, the rocks will worship me. So if you can do
Yeah.
anything better than a rock, I think you're in good shape, independently
Yeah.
if you're direct or not. So
That's it.
just ask God. God will reveal what your unique way of evangelizing is. There's times where all you have to do is take special care of people. That's it.
Yeah. And I
Nothing different. Go about your business and just take care of people and really be concerned with them and really care for them and make sure that you're doing the best you can with excellence. And that would speak more than evangelist in the corner. You know what I'm saying? God can
yeah.
use any of those things, and
Yeah.
none of them is greater than the other.
That's right.
Yeah, I want to recommend everyone who's watching this, if you haven't picked up and read the Firestarter Effect book, it's called The Firestarter Effect, Making Jesus Christ Known in the Marketplace. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. It talks a lot about this topic and so much more. That's really
Yeah.
important for us to all kind of embrace as a community.
And then once you pick up the book, get the other 9 because they're amazing.
Start with Doing Business God's Way. Start with the Kingdom-Driven Entrepreneur Doing Business God's Way, and right after that, go pick up the Firestarter Effect. It's good stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, the next question here is from somebody we love dearly. One of us loves even more than the other two, and his name is Larry.
I knew it was Larry.
Larry is Antonina's husband, so you know what the inside joke is. But we love Larry, and he's saying, how do you know if your vision is a business or a ministry? And I love that question.
Wow.
And I think you guys have done a podcast, something that kind of discussed this, if I'm not mistaken. So go ahead and give it a shot here. Nina, how about you answer?
Yeah, how about you
That's
talk to
your
your
husband?
You talk to your husband, and
Help
then
your
we'll pipe
husband
in.
out.
He would ask that question.
It's an awesome question. I love
It's
it.
an awesome question. So the vision, how do we know it's business or ministry? Well, for Kingdom Driven Entrepreneurs specifically, we didn't separate the two. We say that business is ministry, but there are times where you're called to just be a ministry or
A nonprofit organization, I think.
nonprofit. Exactly.
It's kind of a differentiator.
And it goes back to knowing who it is that you're supposed to serve. If God has called you to make a profit from it, which will make it a business. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I assumed when he said ministry, like I hear ministry, these days I hear ministry, I'm like, business is ministry. But I understand that a lot of people think about ministry specifically as like, at least in the United States, I'm a 501c3 organization, registered nonprofit organization. I could tell you one thing: if the thing that the Lord's called you to is not something that's a marketable, profitable thing, it's to folks who can't even, if the people that you're serving are folks who can't actually spend money on the thing you're supposed to be doing, that's a really good sign that it is a ministry, a nonprofit thing that you're going to be pulling grants in from or what have you to serve people who don't have money, because I mean, a business generates a profit, right? So I think that's one really good hint. We've seen people who are in business that really it's supposed to be a nonprofit organization, right? And they're running into all these walls, and it's like, what's the problem? Why am I not making money? Well, because you're not supposed to be generating your profit. Because look at who you're serving, and they can't pay you,
right?
You know. So
and additionally, other than starting a nonprofit, because some people are like overwhelmed, a nonprofit, like where do I start? Sometimes it's a matter of aligning this ministry with a church that's already in the community. Like, why start from scratch? Come to a church and say, hey, listen, I want to start a clothing pantry. Hey, I want to create a tutoring program for neighborhood kids or underprivileged children or whatever it is. Like, sometimes we want to start all these things when we can tap into what's already created and make something amazing and kind of shortcut the process. Because ultimately, God wants the work to be done, not necessarily an organization to be created all the time.
Right.
That's good.
Really good.
Nico,
Larry?
you answered.
That answers your question,
Larry,
baby.
Baby, does that answer your question?
Well, he says people can spend money on what I have, so I don't know.
Awesome.
I think Antonina knows what you have, so
and that's not the only criteria. I was just indicating that that's a really good way to know that what you are doing isn't, for profit. If people couldn't spend, if people couldn't, that's all I was saying.
And let me give you
Mhm.
something too to kind of ponder, because this is one thing that kind of gave me some freedom about and removed some guilt in my life. This was a couple of years ago, and I know very distinctly that I was called to be a pastor. I know that without a shadow of a doubt. I ran away from it because I had an illusion of what a pastor was like, and because business is in my DNA, I just completely love business. But probably about, I want to say about a year and a half, 2 years ago, God finally gave me this revelation because I was running away from pastorship, which is just leading. It's shepherding people, right? That's all a pastor is a shepherd of people, and particularly God's people in this context. But God was calling me to shepherd His people, and I ran away from it because I thought I knew what a pastor was.
They
But
had
what I
to go start a
realized,
church.
yeah, like start a church or be in ministry, or all these different things that we bring to the table. And God said to me, kind of like, He had to slap me with this one. He said, I honor people in the marketplace just as much as I honor people behind the pulpit.
Mhm.
So that finally gave me the place to step into my calling as a pastor, because I realized that the end game wasn't grow a business till it reaches a certain level, then leave it behind so that I can go work for the church.
Yeah, right.
That's what I felt. And when I coach with people, when I speak to a lot of Christian entrepreneurs, faith-driven entrepreneurs, what I find is they think the end game is going and plugging themselves into a full-time ministry, or plugging themselves completely into a church. And who said, nobody really told us that being in business is any less of a ministry than being in a church, being in a congregation. I'm
That's
not
right.
saying to discount the church. I'm not, because I'm very much a part of my church and my ministry. What I'm saying is that don't devalue the very thing that God called you to do in the
Yeah.
marketplace, simply
Yeah.
because it doesn't look like traditional ministry that we grew up knowing about. Your business is ministry. You're
Yeah.
reaching people. Now, if you do business just for money's sake, and you leave and you're just out there um, chasing money as opposed to serving people, then I'd question even that. But that's a whole other conversation. But the
That's a
thing
whole
is
nother
that
issue.
that's a whole other. But give yourself permission to thrive in your business, knowing that no, God called me for this time, for this place, for these people.
Mhm.
You can bring people to salvation. I mean, I would do it through my mortgage company. You think like, wow, people are actually getting in debt with you, Alex, and I'm able to provide hope? That's
Yeah,
insane. But God uses that. Like,
that's
why
right.
can't God use your candles? Why can't God use your greeting cards, or your brownies that you make, or your birthday cakes? Why can't
Mhm.
God use that? He
Yeah.
absolutely can. He's no respecter of man.
Yeah, I was just talking to, I was talking about that informal real estate mentor of mine earlier. I was talking to him, I think it was just a few weeks ago, and he was telling me about at his last few real estate investing events that people gave their lives to the Lord. Like it was a real estate investing event. It was real estate investing.
Amazing.
It wasn't
Amazing.
church.
Amazing.
It was just him just sharing the goodness of God as a like at the tail end of his thing. Nina and I went to Sandy Krakowski's event in Dallas, Texas last year, and like it was like an altar call at the end of a business event. It was like, oh, I mean, and not that the Lord's going to call you to do an altar call at your event, and maybe He will, maybe He won't. Nina had an experience last week where folks of all kinds of different religions were like, I
Wow.
experienced the love of God here.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
mean, it's just God just if we just get out of his way, if we just live yielded
Just
lives and
yield and
yield our
submit.
business, he'll
Yeah.
just do the most amazing things. And that's the bottom line. All this other stuff's really interesting too, and it's really good. But if we just yield our business to him, he just does the most amazing things.
Mm.
Amazing.
Mhm. Mhm.
Absolutely. This
What
is a
else? Yeah,
great
we have a couple more
conversation,
minutes.
by the
Maybe
way.
what'd you say?
A great conversation, by the way. I
This
think it's serving
is.
a lot of people. And questions are still coming.
Okay,
Wow.
let's take a few more, maybe like three more.
Okay, so let's see here. Uh, how soon? Great question by Evelyn. How soon after releasing a book should you release a second or third book?
I don't think there's a prescription for that. Uh, traditionally speaking, people would say, hey, well, you want to really milk the first one as long as you can, but you're talking to kingdom-driven entrepreneur authors who've released 10 books in 18 months or less. So, um, we
Pretty aggressive, I would say.
yeah, we're on the aggressive side. Now, I will tell you now, Evelyn, since I know you specifically, I will tell you that as far as your book is concerned, anyone who's doing a series of books that are connected to each other, I love shortening the time, especially in the beginning as you're building momentum between books. I don't mean like once a month or anything like that. You can give it some time to gain momentum, but don't leave people hanging for too long. You want to do it long enough where like people are interested and like, I want the next book, right? But deliver that within a reasonable amount of time. Don't wait a year before you release your next book. You don't even really have to wait 6 months. I mean, you could, whatever. I mean, our thing is when the Lord gives us something to write, we write it and we release it, and that's it. We don't really overly concern ourselves with marketing calendars and all of that stuff. We just release stuff. But when you're doing a series of books that are like you have children's books and you've got this series, you're developing a hunger and a desire for more of that book. And when you do release the next one, there's going to be people who find that one and then go back and get the first one and all that good stuff. That's what we find with our books. People will they'll come in at book number 6. Ours aren't in any kind of order, but they'll come in and read a book that might be our book release 6, and then they go back and buy a bunch of other books, right? So it's nice to have multiple books out there because that's multiple income opportunities, multiple touch points with people. But I wouldn't get caught up in any type of formula for, I've got to wait X many months to release this next thing. But since you are doing a children's book series and you are just building momentum, I think it would be awesome for you not to wait too long before you release the next book in the series of Fancy Girl.
Awesome. Octavia Harris, hey, thanks for joining us.
What's up?
Hi, Octavia.
She has some awesome beats. If you want a Firestarter beat, you gotta talk to Octavia, by the way. I just want to say that. Anyway, quick plug. That's sponsored by Octavia.
Beatsbyoctavia.com.
Octavia, she's asking a great question. Is there a tutorial or training on how to use keywords to target people for Facebook advertising and sponsored posts?
Wait, repeat that question, please.
Is there a tutorial or training on how to use keywords to target people for Facebook advertising and sponsored posts? So it's about Facebook ads.
Oh, there's tons of courses on Facebook ads. Actually,
Sandy.
I think Sandy's got one that's on sale that's half off on sale until tomorrow. You might want to check it out.
That's Sandy Kurkowski. Yeah.
It's a realchange.com.
Yeah, her stuff's good.
Yeah, she's good. And she's hit like 500,000 Facebook fans.
Yeah.
Or soon to be, so I think she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, and 1.5 million customers. So she knows her stuff.
Yeah, she knows a thing or two.
Yeah.
So check her out, Octavia. Other than that, I don't know. You could check YouTube too. Just do a quick search, and there's some pretty good videos in there. It won't be step by step, most likely, but at least it'll give you something to start with, and then check out Sandy's stuff. A couple other questions here, and you ladies call the shot.
I'm okay till 9:10, so 8 more minutes would give us about 2 more questions in there.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so Shakana is saying, thank you for your comments on doing kingdom work our way. As a new entrepreneur, I found myself being silenced by a Christian entrepreneur that's in business for 15 years for not screaming Jesus from the opening. How do you respond to a fellow Christian that engages in this type of one-upmanship, if you will? I have just reserved my words and gone about it the way the Lord has led me to do, but it's challenging.
I was going to say, it sounds like you're doing the right thing.
You're doing it, yeah.
Going about your business.
I wouldn't even respond.
The word says His grace is sufficient. Yeah. Have grace on this guy. He's in the process just like you're in the process.
Yep.
Just like I'm in the process. All of us are in this process that God has taken us to. He's not done with us yet. So, just really quick, just grace and love.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. I mean, He can't outbeat God's own message to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
That
That's
sums
good.
it up. Drop the mic.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hey, if there's something you can share that's of encouragement to the person, awesome. Otherwise, I wouldn't have much to say. I just be minding my own business,
And
handling
you
my
could
own
love them
business.
into seeing things a little bit different too. I mean, that's
Correct.
the other thing. You could just love them. Wow, I keep doing this and this and saying this and this and that, and all they want to do is love and support me and encourage. Wow, I got to think about this. So, just some quick ideas. Um, we got a lot of good stuff. Awesome. Thank you. Um, Evelyn is saying she has a second book written, working on illustrations. Awesome, Evelyn. You are an
Awesome.
action taker,
Love
and
it. Love
you
it. Love it.
are a world changer and fire starter. So I congratulate you. Daphne says, my first hangout, and I'm loving this. Awesome.
Awesome.
So that's all the questions that I
Good.
see.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so we kind of went through these pretty quickly. So I hope we
Awesome.
got everybody. I'm just going up and down to see if we missed any, but I think we got them all.
Awesome. That's good. Well, that's perfect timing because we're 5 minutes over. So
All right.
awesome. Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. This has been fun. We're going to be sure to do this again. We have lots of other amazing people on our team that we want to introduce to you through these types of things. We have an awesome board, just amazing, amazing people. Great folks on the team. So you'll get a chance to meet everybody over time as we do these types of things. But we pray this has been a blessing to you. If you are not connected with kingdomdrivenentrepreneur.com, we have the online community there that we suggest you connect to if you haven't. If we've got a podcast, awesome podcast comes out every single Wednesday. We encourage you to check that out. You can listen to that off of our website or on iTunes, however you want to listen to it. Even on our Facebook page now, you can listen to our podcast, any episode you want. So we encourage you to get plugged in there. Just get plugged in. We just really appreciate having you here and look forward to doing it again. Nina, you have any parting words?
Thanks for joining us tonight. It was fun. We love you guys.
Love you guys. Alex?
Absolutely, yeah. Appreciate you. I dropped the links to both of our sites there just so they know in the chat box. And even though we're going to sign off in just a couple seconds here, type in and let us know because we can read it even after the event is over. Type in what would you like to see in these meetings and what would you like to see from the Kingdom Driven Entrepreneurs as far as support for your business. We'd love to know, is that training? Is that more live engagements like this? Tell us how we can best support you, and we value your feedback here so that we can create something that's truly an asset to you and your business.
All right. So that's it. We're going to say a sayonara, good night, and we love you. God bless.
God bless you.
Love you. God bless.